Hey everybody, this is Mr. Elemental here again. Just going to give you guys some more tips that we've come across as this game's been progressing. I'm just hitting 130 now, and about a couple day after tomorrow, the new dungeon's going to drop. So what's happening with this new dungeon about to drop is a lot of people have maxed out all their gear, and they're going into the point where they're getting dupes, or they're trying to sell off their gear before the new dungeon drops to have a bunch of funds available for the new gear drop. So you go into your auction house here, you'll see all this gear for, 200 aluminum or, anywhere up to that. Some people you'll still bidding high, but you'll see it's all starting price all the way down. Everything's the starting price until even all the way down to 500 is the starting price. The stuff under 500, you'll see the people are actually bidding on. And there's only a few of us that are really catching on to this. So we're going to do a little bit of quick math here for us spenders. In this case, I'll give a little shout out to a free-to-play method with this. But for example, 210, 200 aluminum is about 200 donium, right? You do the exchange over. Well, if you come over here into this gear, these guys, these are going for about 260-ish. No, 237 is what's being sold right now. And we're gonna do this even at 237. Remember it was 200 donium? Well, this is 237. That's for only 10 shards, right? 237 for 10 shards. When you break down a piece of gear, you actually get 50 shards. So that's 1185 donium right there worth of 50 shards. So I'm going to prove that to you guys here. Where's my lens? And dismantle. Let's just go with this guy here. It's not going to matter, but there we go. I'll throw that on. And this piece, which I'm going to break down here, see? Down here in the bottom, 50 shards. So, assemble 50 jade shards. Okay? So, that, with those 50 jade shards, that's worth 1140 donium. And you're buying 1140 donium for 300 aluminum. That's like a 5x exchange rate, really. So it goes a little further though. People are here looking to sell these now. Well, this is a set of 10. Even at a minimum price, it's 133 for 10. Well, each 10 of the shards will actually give you 20 of these when you break them down for 266. If you go all the way up to all 100, 1330. So it's worth 1330 donium in shards and 1180 in the actual shard itself. So if you're going to be looking to collect these Divinecraft stones, the absolute cheapest way to do it is buying gear around these dungeon changes, where the dungeon changes over and everybody's offering this gear. And this is probably going to stay true until about 2 or 3 days into the new dungeon, when people start getting new gear to replace it. You have about a week of this, and the prices will be high for about a week and a half. And then it'll come back around again. But it's a very good time if you're going to be looking to min-max your gear. And I'll show you where that kind of comes into play here. Turn this line down a bit. Let's say, for example, here, I want to make this staff a little bit better, for example. Well, no. Enhance. In right here. You're looking at 100 Divinecraft per reroll. Well, You go to this affix preview right here. This is a very important thing to read up on. It's going to tell you which stats are worth holding and which ones are not. So for example, you can lock and unlock these, and each time you do, your value goes up or down. So we're going to lock the healing boost, because I know this is a good one. We're going to use this as a great example. Now my price jumps to 300. Well, everything else here is meh. Actually, the defense is actually almost perfect. So we've got two really good stats here. The speed and crit rate could be better. And I'm going to prove that to you in this affix preview. If you look here, healing boost can roll from 6.4 to 10%. Well, I have a 9.85. So the odds of me getting a 0.15% chance better healing boost is not worth upgrading. So this makes it a good contender. I'm trying to build a healer. So that's why I'm looking at this. So in case guys are wondering, I do play a Sage, and I'm at the point in my account where I want to invest heavily into healing for PvP. And my little Rexy allows it to be valuable in PvE content. It's a little slower, but it works. Anyway, healing boost is what I want. I want healing boost, I want speed, I want HP and defense. Or some kind of damage mitigation, block rate, or let's see what the options are. Healing boost is good, defense is good, speed is good. Elemental resistance I would be okay with. Effect resistance I would be okay with. Physical resistance I'd be okay with. HP percent, defense percent, speed percent are all good. Crit resistance I'd be okay with. Block rate would be great. Flat HP would be good. And some of these bonuses down below, especially the PvP stuff, because I'm building this mostly for PvP, would be great. Some of these converts are awesome as well. I would be okay with a summons take. Less damage would be great, because I don't want Rexy to take a little bit less damage for PvP. What else is there? All kinds of things down here would be awesome to have. I'm not going to go too much more into it there, but you can read these. So if you were sitting here looking and be like, oh, I've got a piece of gear, like this Golden Jade, for example, you'll see I have 3 things locked here. It's 3 things locked for a reason. This is a piece I'm keeping for a Warlock build. I'm gonna have, my goal eventually is to have 2 sets of gear, 1 set of gear for healer, 1 set of gear for damage. So this is going to be something I'm going to keep and carry into the later game. This techniques damage dealt to enemies with debuffs 7.5%. That's a max roll. If we go into prefix and go down looking for it, it's a max roll. Where is that? Right here. 5 to 7.5%. And it's a 0.164% chance to even land this effect, let alone get the high roll on it. So this piece of gear is phenomenal for a Sage on its own, because I have the charm for extra damage with debuffs, so I'm already building debuffs into my build. So this is huge. Accuracy, that max roll is at 5%. Elemental Mastery, 2.72k. Well, Elemental Mastery, 2.87k. I'm 0.1 off of a max roll in Elemental Mastery. But if you get a piece of gear and you've got a bunch of stuff, and I had a staff not long ago, and I had 3 attack rolls on it, and you know what? 2 of those attack rolls were minimum rolls. It was brutal. It looked good when you just look at it, but when you actually deep dive into it, it's not all that great. These affix previews are huge. So like accuracy, and that's a max roll of 5%. I'm pretty close. So 3 of these stats are almost perfect. And then the one off attack roll of 2.19k is that's a mid roll, 1.83 to 2.87. So at this point, if I'm rolling this Jade and I'm on end game gear, I'm talking the very end, the only thing left to rank up on this gear is the level. At this point, I'm rolling at this attack stat alone. Everything else would stay locked, and I would roll specifically only the attack stat. That's 3.2k per roll. I'm not doing that yet. We have a lot of ways more to go before we get doing this. and the goal is the healer first. But that's I'm just doing this to show you guys how to build your gear out when it comes into your late game stuff. So for example here, this staff, I'm looking at using this staff for my healing build. Well, speed of 1.67k. How's that look? Flat speed 1.46 to 2.29. So I'm looking for anything in the 2 point anything k. 1.67 is not enough. I'm going to be rolling and looking for speed, of course, but I want it over 2.0k. Crit rate as a healer is not beneficial to me. This is something I will be rolling in the future. The defense though, 12.4%, that rolls up to percent defense 12.5. So 0.1%, that's pretty much a max roll. I don't want to lose that. That makes me take less damage as a healer. That's perfect. We're going to keep those two. Eventually the crit rate and speed are going to roll. I'm kind of waiting to get the 10k on this to get the title for it. After that, I'll be just basically burning it as we get it. But it's a good time when these zones are rolling over to go for this kind of stuff, to get these divine stones early on. And I'm really going to kick myself if anybody on my server or Nexus sees this video, because I know I'm going to be paying extra for everything after this video goes live. But Jade Crest, for example, speed 1.9k, I've got that locked. It's pretty close. It's not great. I'm probably not going to keep this helmet at all. This entire helmet is probably going to get replaced at some point in the future when I find something better. But for now, it's holding as such. The Jade Silk Robe, as a healer, for example, here, this here is like on the cusp of useful, but nothing's great. The speed at 10.9%. Well, speed here again. Oh, it can go to 12.5. Well, that's not enough. That's almost minimum roll. But as a healer, temporary gear, this is good. I can use all of these stats. My boots. This was amazing. I seen these boots in the store and I bit my tongue for so long because of this healing boost. 9.97%. 0.03% off of a max roll for a healer is phenomenal. Also came with 12.2% defense, which is also convenient. The crit rate, Elemental Mastery. Elemental Mastery is a good roll too, 2.66k. Look at this, Elemental Mastery right here, 2.87k. That's pretty near darn a max roll, and then extra crit rate. This is a very nice hybrid item. I could use this either way. I'm definitely going to use this for healing boost, but because my PvE build right now, I do use some damaging abilities with this here. I get my little Rex, get my heal to keep Rex alive, and I do AoE erosion and AoE erosion detonation. And it's working pretty good for a lot of the content here in Loonghaven. A little healing boost with this. We're going to actually put this on top because I want the extra stats on it. And it's working pretty good. We're going to keep using this for probably a little while. But because of that, makes all of these stats valuable. Every single one. These boots are going to be phenomenal. Yes, I see physical mastery on the top. Once I roll this into the gear to affix this into the next dungeon, whatever your top two stats are on your gear are what's going to keep once you affix it into something else. So, for example, do I have two pieces of gear here that I can do this with? I don't. But when you do your affix, for example, here. How do I put these side by side? Anyway, HP, Elemental Mastery. So let's say I decide I'm going to take my additional stats and I'm going to push these over into the other one. Well, when I put them over into this, here it is. If I transfer the gear on the substats on the left into the substats on the right, the additional substats when you affix transfer over, but the top primary stats on the new item hold. So that once this transfers over into a level, whatever the next dungeon gear is, I think it's 150, that elemental mastery is going to be gone. It's going to be whatever the new piece is. So that also comes to play if you're at the point in the game where you're min-maxing your gear at very, very end game, or min-maxing in for PvP stuff. You can pull pieces or substats from one piece of gear into the other to change that substat. Something to consider and remember. Where else did we want to go into with this? Yeah. Before it's too late, definitely look at those numbers. See what works best for you. If you're a free-to-play player, this is basically the only place you're going to actually get the joys of taking advantage of that, by buying the actual jade shards cheaper than the Divinecraft stones. And then I did mention you get 2 for 1. So let's go into dismantle and prove that theory right here. 50 divine shards gets you 100 Divinecraft stones. And something people may not see, this is some stones from the next dungeon. It's also worth 2 to 1. So it doesn't matter which tier of shards you're breaking down, they're all worth the same amount. Anyway, that's it for the night. I'm sure you guys seen that message. The wife's wanted me to come back. Anyway, take care, and hope this helps. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about the channel. I'm hoping to grow this out a little bit, and once we see, I'll say 100 subscribers, I'll start looking to actually upload videos on a regular basis. As for now, I'm just kind of putting them out there as new content pops. Oh, here's a little quick one. We hit 130. I was expecting to be able to do this. I still can't upgrade my gear. I'm locked at 130. Even though I have the stuff for it, you need 131. Then your seasonal is going to start. That's it. That was a bonus one. Encore. Have a good night, guys. Take care. Bye for now.